The inevitable is going to happen. Now that you are an eBay seller or you have decided to become an eBay seller, just be prepared because people are going to find out and they're going to ask you to sell their stuff. And sometimes when you're starting out, that sounds like a great thing, and it can be, but you need to decide right now whether you want to sell other people's items or whether you do not want to sell other people's items. So we're gonna dive in, kind of unpack all this, and that way you can make a decision whether you want to or whether you don't want to, but at least it'll be an educated decision. Hey, I'm Debbie Baldwin with Whozits and Whatzits. This channel is for you so you can learn how to find treasures galore that are gonna make you mad cash on eBay. I'm gonna teach you how to sell it on eBay and all of my tips and tricks. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and come back and watch often, because the more you watch, the more you're gonna make. Hey, you have decided to sell on eBay. Yes. But now this is going to happen to you, guaranteed. People are going to find out and they're going to ask you to sell their stuff. Okay, and so then that really just leaves you with one decision. Do you want to or not? Okay, so here's some things to consider when it comes to selling items for other people. You're gonna need to decide these things. Do you have the time? Do you have the storage space to store the stuff for somebody else? Do you even need the inventory? Like, if you already have quite a bit of inventory at home, do you actually need this person's stuff? And do you want to work with others? I mean, we decided to sell online for a reason, right? So we didn't have to deal with the public on a constant basis. So this is something that could compromise that. So you need to decide, do you want to work with other people? If you do want to sell for other people on eBay, that's awesome, but you need to have a plan ready to go so that the second someone wants you to start selling for them, they know what to expect. It's really all about managing expectations. The first part of your plan is to set your commission or your rate. You need to have a percentage of your commission figured out already, ready to go, so that when someone says, how much will you charge? You have that ready to go right off the top of your head. And you need to make it worth your time. Now, if you don't know how much your time is worth when it comes to selling on eBay, I actually did do a video about that, so you can kind of figure out your hourly rate or your ideal hourly rate, and that helps quite a bit. So if you want to go check that out right now or afterwards, please go do that. But you need to value your time, so make sure that you don't go too low on your commission rate. You also need to have a realistic timeline laid out for them. I mean, it never fails. People have unrealistic expectations when it comes to how fast something is going to sell, so you need to make sure that they understand that it could take a little bit. It might be on there for a month or two or even 3. And honestly, I like to give them like the worst case scenario expectations, then I look like the hero whenever it comes out great and it sells faster. So I would give them like a much longer timeline to manage that expectation. Also, go ahead and tell them your boundaries, okay? Make sure that they know, like, you don't have a lot of space, so you might be selective about the items that you take. You also might be selective about the items depending on like how much it is per item. Like, does this person have 20 items that are only worth $10 a piece? Well, that's not gonna be worth your time. So you need to make sure you have all of your boundaries figured out, what you're going to tell them, so that you can say yay or nay on some of those items. Okay, but if you already know that you do not want to sell for somebody else, here's what you can do. Whatever your excuse is, whatever your reason is, have a speech ready to go, explaining to someone right off the bat that you don't do that. You just don't. You sell your own stuff. There's also another technique that I like to do, and sometimes this is what I use when I'm on the fence. I really don't like to sell for other people because I have so much of my own inventory and I make so much more money and I have way more control. So I decide not to sell for other people, but there have been exceptions to that rule. And usually what I do to kind of scare off some of these people is I have a really high commission rate so that when I say, sure, I'll sell it for you, I charge 75%. Then they're like, no. Okay, never mind, we're good. But if they said yes, how awesome would that be? Because then it's going to be worth your time. So, maybe if you don't want to do it, maybe just have a really unrealistic high commission rate and throw that at them and they'll go running for the hills without you having to tell them no, if that's a problem for you. And again, if you're still not sure that you want to sell for somebody else, then just tell them that you need a minute to go home and research some of the items that you've discussed or that you've seen, or you just need a minute to look at your calendar and see what you've got going. And then you can take a step back and it gives you a little bit more time to make that decision. And you can weigh all of the important factors like, if you have the space to do it or the time to do it, those kinds of things. Okay, so let's talk about when you might want to walk away from selling for somebody else. Do they have a lot of stuff, but not a lot of high value stuff? Like, is it all $20, $10, $30 items? And after your split, you might make $5 a piece or something like that. Then you're gonna obviously wanna walk away. Are they realistic? Back to the whole realistic thing. If they think that you can sell it super fast for top dollar and they have all these grand ideas of what their item's worth and it's just not worth it, and you can see that already up front, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not gonna be happy with what you sell, how much you sell it for, or how fast you sell it. Guaranteed, if you're already seeing signs of that up front, you're definitely going to be paying the price while you're trying to sell it or afterwards. They're not gonna be happy. They're gonna be hard to please. Are they related? Or are they a close friend of yours? Friends and family are the hardest people to work with. It's the truth, and that's in just everyday life. That's not even just with eBay, that's just on everything. Bottom line, if somebody's asking you to sell their stuff on eBay for them, they don't have the know-how or the time or the desire to sell it themselves on eBay. You're doing them a favor, not the other way around. And I think sometimes when people ask, like, I have this stuff you can sell, like they're gracing you with their stuff to sell. And if you've been doing this for a hot second and you're a reseller, you know that you can go buy something for $1, flip it for 100. You don't need other people's items. So it's actually you kind of doing them a favor and not the other way around. So make sure you are valuing your time and make sure that you're not going too low on your commission, okay? And if you're going to negotiate your commissions, go ahead and start high and work your way down. If you start too low, there's nowhere to go and they're not going to value your time because it looks like you don't value your time. So I highly suggest that you value your time and you know what that's worth, and that's where you start. Now, I've been doing this for a really long time, so I don't actually need other people's items to get me going and to make money. I'm not saying that if you've been selling for a while that you shouldn't sell for other people. That's totally up to you. I just like the hands-off approach because I really, honestly, if I'm just being real, I like to have my own schedule, my own expectations. I like to be my own boss and I don't like answering to other people. I know that's kind of like, what's the word? Selfish, I don't know. But the point is, I know what I want and that's what I want. I want my independence. So I don't typically sell for other people. But I will say this, if you are starting out and you don't have a lot of starting capital, so you want to sell on eBay, but you don't have a couple $100 sitting around to just go to thrift stores or garage sales and take a risk. If that's the case, then I think this would be the perfect time to try to sell for someone else, just to get your feet wet and just to kind of get some seed money to get you going. So that is when I would recommend going ahead and giving it a go. But just make sure that you think it all the way through and make sure that you are making enough money to make it worth your time. And guys, you know what? I really appreciate when someone does come and ask me to sell for them, and I can totally understand it. But the bottom line is, I don't want to. And there's okay to have boundaries and to say no. So that's what I do. That's it. So if you're a newbie and you still need some more tips and tricks, go ahead and watch this next video and you're going to learn some of my top 10 tips and tricks for selling on eBay for beginners. If not, go check out another video, or hey, you know what? Go find my podcast on Spotify and listen to it, because there's other episodes out there that are just on podcast that's kind of different from the videos, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, maybe go give it a go. All right, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.